to today's video. Yesterday we worked on a full stack sign up automation using n8n. So today we're going to be working on a full stack login automation using n8n. And we're not just going to be using the automation method, we're going to be using the HTTP request using HTML, CSS, and JS. So today we are going to be doing the same thing we did yesterday, but with a little bit of a tweak. And today we're going to work all the explanation very correctly and make sure everything works out perfect. So let's start. First of all, is that this particular HTML was for create an account, which means sign up. So we need to create one for a login. So we're just going to come over here and say workflow/login.html. Now we just copy this entire thing to just make it very easy for us. All we're just going to be doing is editing some versions right there. So right here we're gonna call it login to n8n workflow. So we should have all the CSS the way they are, because this is actually making sense actually. So we're going to come over to our HTML right here and let's create an account. We're going to move this off and say login to continue. You can say login to continue, or let's just call it login, then sign in to continue. Or rather, let's just call this, let's tweak this over to make it really more cool. Workflow. Yeah. So I think we should have we're going to remove this full name because we don't need the full name in the login. All we're just going to use is the email actually. So we just need the email and the password. Here we're ready to go. So now we're going to remove. So right here, let's come over. Let's remove this name out of our payload, and now this one is alone. Now, one more thing we have to work on right here that I need to show you guys. Let's come to our Airtable, and then let's come to our Airtable right here. So Airtable, I need to show you guys this important thing we have to take caution of. Sorry, I might be having a slow network, but the network is kind of slow today. Okay, so now let's come to out of this one, let's come over to Mason. So let's come down here. Let's go to our new base. Sorry, we're using new base for this data. The right here. Now we had to add one particular data sheet right here. We have to add a table right here, and this table is we have to add user ID, because we need to create an ID for each user. This ID gives us the capacity to control each of the tables, so we don't have to import all of the table. We can use this user ID to target one particular table and make sure the table exists right in between there. So we can use this field, this particular user ID field, to target the entire table, an entire column, an entire line, to make sure we are getting our information only from that certain line. So how do we tweak this over is by coming back to our n8n here, and we are going to create a record. Come back to our create a record, and we are going to change something, refresh this, and we are going to name this user ID. We are going to name it execution.id. What does this mean is that you see every time you run an execution on n8n right here, this is execution number. It means this is an ID. So right now this is our 11th time of running an execution on n8n. So the next time is going to save the data here. Is going to name that data 12 or 012 or whatever the 9 might be. But right now we are at 11th execution, so the next execution is going to be 12. So the number right here is going to come out as 12. So let's test that open and let's come back here. Let's open this using our live server, and let's just fill in an information and voila. Yeah, so let's come here and let's see what we just did. Oops, we didn't publish this. We need to publish. Sorry. Now let's redo this. Now this should work perfectly. Okay. So now we have to click on the. So let's check. Right now our user ID is 35, but he ain't supposed to be 35. I think we ran our execution is 13, but if we remember, we ran out some execution, which is some test flow execution. I think that was in our last project. We did some test flow execution. So assuming we didn't do any test flow execution, we should just have 13 directly. But due to that, that's the reason why we have 35. So that's not an issue. So let's come back here. We should have 35 right here. Now we have 35 here. So we can use this ID to access in our login. When we want to log in, we can use this ID to access the entire line, this entire data, this entire line. So right here, let's come back right here, and we need to come to our HTML, and then let's scroll down. Okay, firstly, let's come back to our webhook. Respond to webhook. So we need this to pass out some certain message also. So we need this to pass out. Sorry, let's pass out this message. So we need to pass out let's name this let's give this name user ID and user ID user. So JSON.field, I think we should be having that as fields dot user ID. I think that should be the way it is. Okay, we'll have a sample right here. Should be fields dot user ID. So that should be the response. That should be the response actually. So right here, sorry. So let's have this run up. Let's give this as an S. Yeah. So this should work perfectly now. Let's publish. Now let's come back to our HTML here, and when we have the data.message, let's ask it to allow us data.user ID. So let's get a few. Okay. Yeah. So we have our ID number to be 36. So right here, this ID number. Sorry to refresh it. Yeah, this one is 36. So we can use that ID number to access anywhere. So right now there is a trick we're going to use right here to be able to access the user ID. So we are going to say, let's put this right under. So let's okay. So let's give this a local storage dot cert item. Let's call this item user ID. Then data dot user ID. No, just the user ID. So let's string. We don't need to stringify that. It's just a single string. We don't need to stringify. So let's set this. Now let's come right here to our login workflow. Now let's tweak some things around. Now what we're going to do at this workflow is that we're still going to be using the same post method, we're going to change this URL. So that means we're going to create another node right here. Let's scroll this up a little. We can just copy this. No, we can just copy the entire thing and just paste it over. So we're just going to work on each of them differently. Sorry. Stop. Okay. So let's come over here. So now we're going to be changing this from sign up to login, and then from login we copy this over here and bring it here. So we change this one to login. Okay, we're good. So right here now we're using still respond to webhook. So what we're going to do right here is we're not going to be using the search method. Right here we're not creating, we're not updating. What we're going to get is the search method. We're going to use the search method right here. So now there's something we call filter by formula. You see right in this filter by formula, if you're having one single table in Airtable or a single field with one single base data, you don't need to use the filter by formula. You leave it there and it gets you all the information on your Airtable. But since we are trying to target a particular row right here, we want to target this field, this row right here. We want to target this entire record right here. So we need to use the filter mode, which use the filter by formula. So how do we use filter by formula? Is that we're going to use an expression. So right here we want to use this user ID as the filter. We want to use this user ID to get a particular node, to get a particular filter. So right here what we're going to do is that we're going to still come back here. Now you see at this payload we're going to do some trick. Now we're going to call our user ID. Our user ID is local storage, or local storage.get item, then user ID. So once we get this, it's going to be part of what we're sending as a post to Lovable, to the n8n. So sorry. So we're going to be using user ID. Our user ID that is equal to. Then we're going to be using a string right here, json.body.user ID. Oh, sorry, I should have this. Yeah, so this should cover up right there and return us all the information we need. So right here at our webhook, let's have it return sign in successful. We can just do that as login successful. So let's publish. So I think everything should be working fine now. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's tweak this. So it should not. This should be login successfully. So let's go. So let's bring this over and then let's console. So let's open our console and then let's see what the error is. 139 expected. Okay, let's go to 139. So what the error to 139? Okay, this is an error right here. Yeah, we don't need that. So let's redo this. Yeah, server error. Let's come back to what's the error we having from here. Okay, we have an error. So let's debug this right now. Okay. Oh. Nah. Okay. Yeah. So what the issue is. Now this is from user ID, and then right here, what do we name this? User ID stew. Okay, let's refresh this. That was actually from one of a project I was working on recently. So the local storage, I didn't grab my cache, so it's not actually bringing up the data from the new local storage. So let's ask it to, yeah, thank you, to do this. So let's repeat this. So we're having the same error. Let's check if it's actually coming from the same error. Then we're going to do something else to that. I'm still going to clear up the cache for my, for my computer right here. Okay, I think that was successful. Oh, that was successful. Yeah, so we had all information right here. That was successful. Then what was the error? Okay, response is set up. Okay, let's come back right here. Yeah, that was correct. So our Airtable is working perfectly. Yeah, this is the error. Yeah, forget that. So publish. Yeah, so this should work now. Yeah, so this should work now. Yeah. Still have an error. But there shouldn't be any error on there. Do you publish? You're published. So let's see what the error is. Invalid JSON. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're done. So this should work now. Yeah, logged in successfully. So this was our response right here, meaning it's successfully logged in. So this is a simple way to create the simple full stack login, the login workflow. And then also I think we should do some more tricks over here, and which is like confirming if a user has once signed up before, maybe has once signed up for an account before. But we'll be doing that in the next video actually, because right in the next one we're going to be doing two. We're going to be working on OTP verification, and we're going to be working on confirmation, if a user and account confirmation. So those are the two things we're going to be doing in the next class. So I hope this helps you in a way. Maybe you're new or you want to work on any project, so this can actually help you with setting up your login and sign up full stack interface. So this is functional and this is really helpful with n8n. So shout out to the guys right there, and to everyone automating who will actually meet at the top. Thank you very much and have a very great one.